Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Silent But Dadly 13. Thanks for the suggestion, Silent But Dadly. Hilarious name, by the way. You ask, how does a gun silencer work? Now, when most people think of silencers, they picture a slick assassin in a movie, taking out bad guys with a gun that sounds like a hiccup. But real-life silencers aren't magic tubes that turn bullets into whispers. They don't come with a ninja certificate or secret agent license. And no, they don't make your Glock sound like a soda can opening in the distance. So what's actually going on inside that weird metal cylinder? Stay tuned. We're unraveling the surprisingly nerdy secret behind gun silencers, right here on Explaining Everything. First off, let's talk about why guns are so ridiculously loud in the first place. When you pull the trigger on a gun, you're basically causing a miniature explosion. It's not just a pop. It's a fiery pressure party inside a tiny metal chamber. The gunpowder in the cartridge ignites, creating hot, high-pressure gas that blasts the bullet down the barrel. But it doesn't end there. When that gas finally escapes from the muzzle, it decompresses violently. Think of it as gas that's been cooped up and is now doing parkour into the air. That alone makes a lot of noise. But if the bullet itself is traveling faster than sound, which it often is, it creates a sonic boom. So now you've got an explosion and a sonic crack. Double the drama. If that all sounds chaotic, it's because it is. Guns are basically loudmouths. So when we talk about silencing a gun, what we really mean is teaching it how to use its indoor voice. Despite what movies tell you, a silencer doesn't just screw on and instantly turn your gun into a stealth machine. It works hard behind the scenes, like a sound engineer for aggressive explosions. Inside that long tube is a series of metal barriers called baffles. These aren't just there to look fancy. They act like a confusing obstacle course for the hot gas racing out of the gun. Every time the gas hits one of these baffles, it gets slowed down, redirected, and cooled off. It's like sending a hyperactive toddler through a maze of bubble wrap and cold tea. By the time the gas finally exits the suppressor, it's tired, cooled off, and just doesn't have the energy to scream anymore. The result is a gunshot that still makes noise, but sounds more like a distant firecracker or a loud book drop than a thunderclap from hell. Think of the suppressor like a giant muffler, except instead of calming down a car engine, it's trying to convince a tiny explosion to chill out. Now here's the fun part, and by fun, I mean sorry, James Bond fans. Gun silencers don't actually make guns silent, not even close. A suppressed gunshot can still be as loud as a jackhammer. The key difference is that it's no longer loud enough to make your ears regret being born. So yes, it's quieter, but it's not silent. And don't forget, the bullet still makes noise as it flies through the air. If it's going faster than the speed of sound, it'll break the sound barrier and produce a loud sonic crack, completely untouched by the suppressor. So even if the muzzle blast is muffled, the bullet is out there, making its own dramatic entrance like, I don't need no suppressor, I am the noise. That's why professional assassins in movies firing off 12 rounds in a hotel hallway without anyone noticing. Total nonsense! Real life doesn't come with a dramatic soundtrack and soundproof henchmen. Okay, so it muffles the sound. But silencers also have some weird quirks that most people don't think about. First, they can actually change how a gun feels. Since they redirect gas and alter the way recoil behaves, it can make the gun feel softer or heavier when you fire. Some shooters say it's like switching from a sports car to a luxury sedan. It still goes fast, but it doesn't rattle your bones quite the same way. Second, they can get really hot. Remember, you're sending fire and pressure through a narrow metal tube. That suppressor heats up fast, like cook an egg on it fast. So unless your life goal is to sear your fingerprints off, don't touch it after firing. And finally, they can get dirty fast. Suppressors trap all that gas, carbon, and residue. So they need regular cleaning unless you want your next shot to sound like a cough and a wheeze. Without a suppressor, every shot is a full volume event. The noise can be dangerous, not just annoying. One shot from an unsuppressed firearm can hit 160 decibels. That's louder than a jet engine. Even one shot can cause permanent hearing damage. It's like giving your eardrums a swift roundhouse kick. Suppressors don't just make things cool or stealthy. In reality, they help reduce noise pollution and protect hearing. For target shooters and hunters, that makes a big difference. It's not witchcraft, it's clever engineering. A suppressor slows down and cools the exploding gas, redirecting it through a labyrinth of metal baffles until it emerges less obnoxious than before. It doesn't make the gun silent. It just takes the boom, tones it down, and gives you something closer to a polite thump. Is it as quiet as movies make it seem? Nope. But is it cool that we figured out how to hush a literal explosion using only pressure, metal, and physics? Absolutely. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, preferably one that doesn't echo across the neighborhood. And subscribe while you're at it. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.